It's time for me to get sappy on you. Salutations! Welcome to Loving the Language of Literacy. My name is Sophia Lee, and today I'm doing my very last episode of a progression in playwriting. Before we all say what we're thinking, yes, I obviously failed with the whole weekly episode thing. We're not going to mention that now. If you didn't already know this, I've been part of a 10-week playwriting class at my local YMCA. It is the end of this 10-week period. It has been one of the best experiences I've ever had, and most certainly the top class/weekly activity that I've ever done. I can't even express how much I've, first of all, learned, how much I've grown as a writer, how much I've just discovered about myself, and then the friendships and the people that I've met through this has been an absolutely incredible opportunity that I never thought I would have gotten. I went into the Young Authors Academy, which is what it's called, thinking I was going to do fiction or poetry, but I went on the not so safe side and went to playwriting. I had such a fun time getting to know this interchangeable, not everyone made it each week, but interchangeable group of around 5-6 people, and my lovely teacher who the entire class just learned from, and we bonded, and it felt so much more like just hanging out and having coffee with your friends rather than an actual lesson or class. Now I'm just gonna do a quick overview / wrap up, so to speak, of what we did each week. I'm only going to be going over 8 different things because I was absent for one of the weeks in California, and another one of the weeks I was over fiction because the playwriting teacher wasn't there, and that's what my blog post is about, so you can check that out if you want to know about that experience. There were 8, technically 7, I'll explain, lessons that I learned and just different topics we went over in the whole realm of playwriting, and I'm going to tell you about them now. The very first week we worked on hello and goodbye scenes. These are obviously good. Most of us were completely new to playwriting. We had no idea what it was all about even, and we just started off with these simple hello and goodbye scenes between 2 characters, just introducing themselves and then leaving the scene for some reason. At that point in time, I have a video for this, but I didn't share anything, and by the end of the 10 weeks, I felt so comfortable I would have shared anything with this group of people. The second week was the fiction week, and the third was the index cards week. Our assignment was to fill out these index cards with the name, age, occupation, greatest fear, etc. of a character, and then we passed it around and we wrote a scene for each other. So mine ended up being quite insane. I read it. The next week was so much fun. There's actually an official name for this, but I just called it the fan fiction week because we read a scene that was basically a knockoff of a Charlie Brown scene, but they never actually mentioned Charlie Brown or the specific names of other characters, so they could get away with it as a play, as their own work. And that's what we did. We used character clues and just references that normal people who didn't know the actual story wouldn't understand, but to us who have read or watched or whatever the original medium of the story, it was really fun. We had so many Harry Potter ones. I did a Sherlock Holmes one, and that week was just laugh out loud hilarious. Week number 5 was Valentine's Day, actually, and of course, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we did love scenes. Mine ended up being the weirdest, most twisted country love scene that I've ever even thought about. And in terms of all the scenes I've written during playwriting, that one was not the best, for sure. Week 6, we went over little just prompts on pieces of paper and picture prompts, and we just worked on taking the little information we had and melding it into something completely our own. Week 7, we worked on conflict and resolution because, as I said in the very first episode of Progression in Playwriting, conflict is drama. You cannot have a play without drama and conflict, and of course, it just makes it so much more entertaining for the audience. And this time, we focused on the characters, what they wanted, how they worked towards getting it, and what the resolution was for that. The 9th week, we did emotion-based scenes, which I think was my best scene out of all the weeks, mostly because, of course, over time I've gotten better, so to speak, as a playwright, and it was just one that I kind of more related to as a fiction writer, and that's where Kim put a bunch of adjectives and emotions on the board, and we had to write scenes including one or more of them. And something that actual actors do in playwriting is sometimes the director will make them write down the emotion link to every single one of their lines, which is of course a pain in the butt, but is very helpful to see what they interpret the writer's words as. The last session, I didn't actually write anything personally, but everyone just brought in their own scenes and we just performed them. And basically what ended up happening was another one of those, what I like to call the coffee shop times, because one of the weeks of playwriting, we actually spent the first 40 minutes just chatting. We kind of forgot about the actual class itself. We just got into talking about just life and writing and things that were happening, and that was so much fun, especially with the last session also because Kim was so kind just to bring donuts, so we were all just sitting around eating donuts and talking and just doing our little scenes, and there was everything from just drama to tragedy to comedy. Anyways, I learned so much throughout this entire experience of playwriting. First of all, you probably don't want to have me write any plays in the future because as much as I loved doing it, I'm not the best playwright, just saying. But I learned so much about this different technique of writing and how playwriting really shouldn't be in the creative writing zone, but more in the acting drama one, just because of how oriented it is with immediate reaction of the audience and how much you need to just read off your scene and see and try to interpret what the author was trying to get at. And I just want to say thank you so much to the Young Authors Academy for this astounding experience. Playwriting has just been such a wild ride, and it was so much fun getting to know people and just getting to just write and have so much fun each week. It's led me to so many friendships that I am obviously going to keep because I'm going back for more writing sessions, and the Young Authors Academy is why I have my boyfriend right now because he was the one who originally told me about it, so thank you so much, Gavin. And he's also the reason why I haven't been doing progression and playwriting videos because we most of the time would go on little excursions and dates after. Anyways, now I'm going to talk just a little bit about what we have in store in the future because I am most definitely doing more sessions through the Young Authors Academy. But next up, I will be doing poetry, which I am so excited about. Probably going to be another terrible alliteration for that. But I'm not going to be promising a whole 10-week session, mostly because I know I'm not going to be there for all the 10 weeks. But most definitely, I will be doing at least some videos hopefully for that because poetry is a lot more my speed and my style, and I can't wait to delve deeper and find out more about who I am as a poet, so there's that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Keep calm, read on, and I will see you in a new video soon. Goodbye!